So I just finished watching Detective Pikachu, and I have to say, it's pretty okay. Now, if you've been living under a rock or just don't watch trailers, I know there are some people who do that nowadays. Detective Pikachu is a movie about a guy whose dad is missing, and he has to team up with a Pikachu with a hat on to find him. That's a sentence I never thought I would ever say in my life. For me, this movie was pretty alright. I didn't really feel anything during this movie. The characters were bland, the motives weren't good, and the story was pretty gross as well. The only redeeming quality for this movie is probably the CG, but we'll get onto that a bit later. Now, one of the big selling points on this movie was Ryan Reynolds playing the title character, Detective Pikachu. For me, this became unfunny maybe 6.5 minutes after it's revealed. Tim goes into his dad's apartment, and you get the dialogue exchange from him and Pikachu. Some crazed APOMs jump in, and about midway through that chase scene, I was done with it. And I think the reason for this is the rest of the cast. I could not, off the top of my head, name a single cast member bar Ken Watanabe. This movie uses some really unused actors, and I think that shows because the acting in itself was not great at all. I also thought the ending with the reveal for Tim's dad is actually Ryan Reynolds was really weird. It felt like it was another one-liner which didn't really fit the whole movie at all. Which leads on to my next point. The humor in this was very, very bad. Throughout my watching this film, nobody laughed once at any of the jokes. I feel like they got Ryan Reynolds, who is famous now for playing Deadpool, one of the most popular R-rated superhero characters, and said, hey, let's get that guy, but restrict him to only using PG jokes. So the plot of this movie is one of those ones where about midway through the movie, you go, oh, yeah, this is what's going to happen next. Which is really a shame because I am a big fan of those Mewtwo stories from the original Pokemon movies. And we got maybe 5 to 8% of that in this movie. The one redeeming quality about this movie is the actual Pokemon that are presented in the movie. Now before I continue, no, this movie does not pander to Gen 1. In fact, I thought it kept it pretty even with all the Pokemon from every generation so far. Now the actual Pokemon in this film looked really good for a live action movie. The Pikachu was good, Blastoise was good, Snubbull looked very nice. Mewtwo looked really, really good. I was very impressed by the Mewtwo. The third act for this film falls pretty hard for me. Story-wise, you have the main villain whose body is deteriorating, so he swaps minds with Mewtwo. Okay, makes some sense, I guess. He then goes and proceeds to swap everybody's minds with their Pokemon. Sorry, what? Why did you do that? What was the reasoning? I think this film had a good idea where it was going, but didn't really understand how to get there, and has its downfall because of it. I give this movie a 5 out of 10.